Oh, hi there. It's just me and my fish mug and maybe some fish socks, and I'm here to talk to you about Fish Girl Fall. I'm Ashley, and welcome to the Design by Sew podcast. This is a podcast where I talk about mostly knitting, but sometimes other fiber arts like sewing and spinning. And today's podcast is a really fun one. We're going to be talking about all things fish related: sardine summer, fish girl summer, fish girl fall. For as far as I can see, I would like to be a fish girl all year round. And so this podcast is a very special one because I am co-hosting a very special make-along, fish theme related, with Casey from Young Folk Knits. So I'll tell you all about that make-along, as well as a pattern release announcement. So why don't you grab your craft and let's chat. So I'll just quickly get through the admin-y stuff and then we'll jump into the podcast. Anything that I mentioned today is going to be linked in the show notes below so that you can check them out there. And if you enjoy watching, please be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. Okay, let's get into Fish Girl Fall. So first off, I have a pattern release. It's being released today, Friday, August 29th. So without further ado, you can see it is the Old Salt sock pattern, which features a colorwork cuff with these adorable sardines that go all the way around. And if you pay close attention, there is one unruly little sardine that is swimming against the current. I think he's quite adorable. So each sock has him positioned so that they can be worn on the outside of your ankles for the left and the right sock. There is a short row heel, and then I think this is kind of becoming my signature, a half stripe at the toe. I really like it. I think that it's just something different, a little fun. You know, the stripe doesn't continue all the way around, and there is a video link with instructions on how to do that for yourself. I'll put it on a sock blocker so you can see it a little better. There it is, an adorable Old Salt sock. So something really special about this pattern is it's written in two ways, both cuff down and then toe up. I've been a sock knitter for like 7 or 8 years now, and I really love toe up construction. I find it really engaging right from the beginning, and then it just feels like it progresses. It's just a mental thing, I'm sure, but in my mind, it progresses more quickly. As soon as you finish one step, you're on to the next, and it flows really nice. So I prefer a toe up. But I have noticed that majority of knitters like cuff down. I've done a handful of polls throughout the years, asking people what's their preferred construction. And I'd say in general, about 75% of sock knitters will say they prefer cuff down, and then maybe 25% will say toe up. But there's not a lot of like crossover between the two. It seems like you're either one or the other. And if you like one, you strongly dislike the other, is what I've heard from people. So I wanted to kind of include everyone and release this pattern with instructions on how to knit it both ways. If you really prefer cuff down, it's written that way. And if you are a toe up knitter, it is written that way. You can actually test them out both for yourself, cuff down and toe up, and decide for yourself what is your preference. I actually knit my pair of socks that way, where one is cuff down, one is toe up. I'll see if I can tell the difference between these two, because in the end they really are identical. Okay, yeah, this one here is cuff down. So this is the first one that I knit. And then this one here is toe up. And that was the second one that I knit. But I'm going to be wearing them as a pair, and you cannot tell the difference whatsoever when they're completed. So I think that that's a pretty cool option in the pattern, and it gives you kind of two patterns in one. When you purchase it, you're able to choose which one you want, or you can follow both. So the Old Salt socks are available today, like I said before, and for the first week I'll have an introductory sale of 20% off. So if you use the code Old Salt at checkout, either on Ravelry or on my website, you'll be able to get 20% off the pattern. All right, let's talk a little bit about this gorgeous yarn. This is a sock set that Colleen from Little Lionhead Knits created for me. We were in talks about like a coastal fisherman's kind of style sock. So I drew up some sketches of some ideas that I had, and then she came back to me with some yarn pairings. And this is what she landed on, this beautiful, beautiful sock set. So the main color is called Old Salt, and it is just this gorgeous, very, very slightly variegated creamy beige. So it's not just a solid white or a solid cream, but there's some nice like variation in there. Then her signature red is this orange red. It's called Let's Picnic. She's had it for a few years now, and it is the most gorgeous red. You'll find it in a lot of sock patterns. A lot of people really like to use this color. So that's Let's Picnic. And then this bright blue that also has like subtle variations to it. It goes from lighter to darker, but this bright blue is called Nautical Blue. So she is selling sock sets with all three of these colors together so that you can make socks exactly the same as this if you love them as much as I do. So it comes with a 100-gram skein of the main color and then two 20 grams of the contrast colors. And because just yarn and a pattern isn't enough, we wanted to be a little bit extra. So Riley from Soft Spoken also joined in our collaboration, and she made the most incredible little clay stitch markers or progress keepers. So one is this blue sardine and the other is this red sardine tin, and they come on these round clasps. So you can even wear them as earrings if you want, use them as progress keepers or stitch markers and slide them along your needles. But they are absolutely adorable. I love this whole set together with the sock, the yarn, and the progress keepers. We had so much fun working together and kind of scheming up ideas of how we wanted this to turn out, and it turned out so much better than I could have imagined. And it seems like a lot of you are excited about it too, so that's great to hear. So this is a part where you all can get involved. If you are as smitten with sardines as I am, we are going to be hosting a Fish Girl Fall Make-Along. So Casey from Young Folk Knits and myself will be hosting. It's going to run from September 1st to December 21st. Whips are welcome, and anything fish related can be entered. This is a make-along, so it doesn't have to just be knitting. It can be anything that you want to make that is fish themed. Of course, at the end of the giveaway, there's going to be prizes, there's going to be yarn, progress keepers, patterns. It's going to be a big bundle of prizes. So we'll keep you posted on the details of all the prizes as we get further into the make-along. So I'm gonna share a screen recording of a little Pinterest board that I created with this Fish Girl Fall feeling to it. So it doesn't necessarily have to have fish on every single item. It can be that kind of like fisherman coastal cable knit sweaters, fisherman's rib sweaters, just anything that gives you that coastal kind of vibe. So I'm going to be sharing some project ideas that I've found, and it might give you some ideas on what you would like to make to join us. I've got a list going on over here. I'm going to share with you just some ideas of different crafts that feature adorable fish themed, sardine themed things. So let's start with knitting first off, obviously, because that is my favorite craft. So I created a Ravelry bundle. It'll be linked in the show notes below, but there's just a whole bunch of fish themed knitting, and I don't know if there's any crochet actually. Yeah, there's a couple crochet in there also. So obviously, to start off with, Caitlin Hunter is the queen of fish themed knitting. She has the halibut line where there's mitts and a hat and sweater and cardigan, all featuring that halibut colorwork motif. And then just recently she's come out with a king salmon line where she has sweaters featuring a salmon colorwork motif. They're absolutely incredible. I love all of them. I have knit the halibut for my husband, and I am tempted to make one for myself, maybe the king salmon or the king salmon light, so that it's not exactly matchy-matchy with my husband, but something similar. I don't know if any of you have seen the Salvelinus brackets fish sweater on Ravelry, but it is a really cool design. It just looks like your classic kind of like LL Bean looking timeless gray sweater, but then it has duplicate stitch of a trout on the front of the sweater, and it looks adorable. Another really cute fish themed sweater is the sardine sweater. This is by Sweater Weather Ceramics, who actually also made my mug that I'm drinking out of today. She sells her mugs online, but she also created this absolutely adorable sweater. It is a circular yoke. It comes in 11 sizes. Yeah, it's knit in worsted weight yarn, and along the circular yoke you have these sardines. Positioned with kind of like a star looking motif through it. Really, really cute. Her test knitters knit up absolutely adorable versions. So steering away from blatant fish on your sweaters, we're going to lean into more of that fisherman aesthetic. And Albina McLaughlin nails that. I love all of her designs. But one sweater that's been in my favorites for a long time is the Last Long Pullover. It's a DK weight fisherman's rib, cozy looking sweater, oversized, absolutely incredible. And it looks like it's unisex. It looks good on absolutely everyone, honestly. I love how cozy this one looks. Okay, let's move on into accessories. First up is the Carlo hat. Again, it doesn't scream fish girl, but it definitely has that like outdoorsy, coastal kind of feel to it. It mimics those beaver skin caps where you can have it tied up, but then you can pull the ear flaps down and there's a little kind of like cap to protect you from the wind. Another fun knit accessory is the Ribka pouch. I've seen a few on Instagram making these, and they're just these silly little fish pouches made from fingering weight yarn scraps. So you can make them as long as you want. They can be super tiny, but they use up scraps and they're absolutely adorable. So there are a few more patterns that I don't have time to mention, but they are on the Ravelry bundle if you want to check them out. But let's move into some other crafts. For sewing, there are some really cool looking patterns for pouches and bags that are fish shaped. I found a couple on Etsy that I'll put up here for you to see. You can make it with patchwork fabric, you could quilt it. So I think during this make along, I am going to try to sew a fish pouch or bag of some sorts. I really like these patterns, but I also love the look of, there's this fish pouch from Beading. It's actually currently sold out, but I love the fabric choices that they used with a little bit of gingham and then white and blue denim. It looks really classic to me, and I do have scraps like that in my stash, so I think I will try to make a pouch that is Beading inspired. In the cross stitch category, if you search sardines or fish or any ocean life under cross stitch, you'll be able to find a ton of patterns. This one in particular stood out to me. I like the classic red and white colors going on and the cute sardines in a can. I thought it was really fun. If you're into beading, have you seen the adorable little beaded fish that are everywhere? If you want to purchase them, Hello Stella is the one that kind of like trailblazed this. She'll have updates every month or so where she releases her latest fish from the tackle box. They're absolutely beautiful. Her sense of color is incredible, and you can see in the colors that she chooses with the beads that she uses, they're absolutely adorable. So if you want to purchase them, Hello Stella's got you covered. If you'd like to try your hand at making them, there are so many YouTube videos that will show you step by step how to bead your own. So I've made a few of these in the past and gifted them as keychains, as little necklace pendants. You can also make them as progress keepers for your knitting. There's a lot of fun ways that you can use them. So those are just a few ideas of things that you could make to join our Fish Girl Fall Make Along. Let me know what you're excited to make, and be sure to follow Casey Young Folk Knits and myself, Design by So on Instagram, where we'll release more announcements about the Make Along. But it starts September 1st, so get your crafts ready, and I cannot wait to see all the fun fishy things that you guys come up with. All right, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.